that they come here in an orderly way under U.S. law.
Thursday, President Biden said he's expanding a parole program to accept up to 30,000 migrants per month from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela.
This new process is orderly, it's safe, and it's humane.
They've broken the contract with the American people. They're not handling it well. Let's watch.
These resources that have not come to us, now you want to overly compensate for people who never lived here before, and we need to be taken care of first and foremost before anything else happens here.
Yes. Why would any leader put our black communities already riddled with crime at further risk by placing unvetted non-taxpayers steps away from our seniors, our children, and our homes we've worked so hard on our own to secure?
We are at war, people. Our communities are at war. They are violating our communities, and we asking that we across the country, and we asking and we're demanding for office of Black America, or whatever you want to call it, to deal with issues like this.
See, in January 6th, they could go ahead, so we broke into the Capitol, we tried to, to overturn the government. They can't say that if we're trying to stop people at the border. Protesting in front of their homes, protesting at the Capitol. No. They don't give a damn about that. No, it takes action. It takes something where you throw a wrench in the works, where it stops the machine. They're behind their walls. They don't care when we're out on the street screaming. It takes action. Close the border. We close the border. And I think back about the founding fathers, what they had to sacrifice. Washington's trials and tribulations going across the Delaware, Christmas, freezing, troops with no shoes, rags. Guys at the Alamo tracked, and they didn't have the internet back then. How did they organize? How did they get all these different people from all over the place, and they all went down to the Alamo? And how did they, ride mules and walking, foraging for their food along the way. We complain. We think, oh, gee, got a job. I got, I don't know what I got things I got to do. If we don't do this, if we don't make them sacrifices, if we don't stop this and go down to the border and end this invasion, you won't have a job. All these little worries you think are stopping you now, or I can't do this because they won't be there, because your life will be over as you know it right now. It will not be saved by someone else. We have to make the effort. Arbitrarily, I'm saying, all right, Memorial Day weekend, it's coming up. So it gives us about 10, 11 days to go ahead and do this. But I'm saying do it now. And I say I need help. This was an idea. It came, but said, okay, this makes sense. This works. This is an actual action that will stop an invasion and make a statement. And this isn't like January 6th where they can blame, it's an insurrection. No, we're trying to save our country. And if they try to stop us from doing this, it's going to fall back on them horribly, because then more and more people will show up. And I'm saying it just not for, I'm saying people start going down there now. Don't wait. Look, I'm one guy. I don't know how to organize this. And believe me, I don't, as far as the less organized it is, the better, because then they can't stop it. So all of us need together with our patriot groups, with your friends, with call up your state militia if you're part of the state militia. And I'm calling on the National Guard guys and the Army. Do not obey those illegal orders. When they tell you to let these illegals in and stop us from doing it, you stand down. You're committing treason. Are you going to shoot on your fellow Americans to allow illegals to come in? Is that what you signed up for?
And bracing for an illegal immigrant influx, New York City is converting hotels to emergency shelters, making room for illegal immigrants coming into the city. NTD's Sam Wong brings us the latest on that.
In Midtown Manhattan, the historic Roosevelt Hotel opens its door again after being shuttered for almost 3 years. They're preparing to accommodate illegal immigrants now that Title 42 has ended. The public health measure allowed authorities to swiftly expel illegal immigrants amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The Roosevelt Hotel, which will serve as an arrival center, is just one of the many hotels in the city being converted into emergency shelters. Mayor Eric Adams said that he can provide as many as 1,000 rooms, and all newcomers will be directed there. Last week, Adams suspended parts of the city's law guaranteeing shelter to all residents. He later began to send illegal immigrants on buses to New York's upstate suburbs. That's despite backlash from local leaders. So what do New York City residents think about the ongoing influx? I asked some folks walking by, and here's what they told me.
People need to come here and they need places to stay. They should be able to.
I think it's a much more difficult problem than like a black and white answer. I think everybody deserves shelter. And
I think Title 42 should remain in place. I don't think our mayor is particularly qualified to meddle with it, so leave it alone.
Before the end of Title 42, New York City taxpayers spend about $8 million per day to shelter illegal immigrants. Many of the sanctuary city's migrant population came from Texas after Governor Greg Abbott began to send them on buses in 2022. Sam Wong, NTD News, New York.
And the surge of illegal immigration is also affecting the lives of people living near the Mexican border. Residents shared personal stories with former U.S. officials. NTD's Jason Perry has that story.
My 2 dogs were poisoned.
A resident near the U.S.-Mexico border spoke to a small group of people last week at a home near El Paso, Texas. She shared her experiences dealing with the surge of illegal immigration.
So we started working with ICE. They set up a video camera. It took about 6 months, and sure enough, we caught a guy because my husband and I accidentally closed our gate at the same time people with bags were running out of the dry canal. And I looked at my husband, who's not from here, and I said, don't look, because if they know that we saw them, we're in trouble.
And another resident shared a close call that he recently had.
I retired from the Intel department, but I get a call from one of my Intel guys, and he says, hey, wake up your family. We just had, they're following a smuggling load, and they just bailed out right in front of your house. They were knocking on the door, trying to come into my house, but that's what it's come to. Never happened before under the other administrations until this administration came in. So
the Biden administration has said they inherited a broken immigration system. Former chief of the U.S. Border Patrol, Mark Morgan, had this to say about that.
When I say that they're the ones that dismantled the plethora, the network of tools, authorities, and policies we had, guess what? I can give you examples. The safe third country agreements we had with all 3 Northern Triangle countries, under Biden, gone. The Remain in Mexico program, which was single-handedly the most significant program that deterred illegal aliens from coming here, under Biden, gone. The wall system, which acted as part of that multi-layer strategy of infrastructure, technology, and personnel that Rodney talked about, gone. ICE's ability to conduct interior enforcement to remove criminal illegal aliens from the streets of our cities, gone. Yeah. Don't tell me you inherited anything dismantled. They're the ones that dismantled, and they're lying to the American people about it.
There are so many people in the United States that espouse the jihadi extremist ideology who are doing either fundraising in the United States, training in the United States to conduct attacks here in the homeland and abroad.
Former CIA operative Joseph Assad says extremists exploit laws in the United States like religious freedom, creating sleeper cells, often operating off the grid until they're ready to strike.
In the CIA, we actually used to believe that it is by the grace of God and good work by our partners in the FBI that we had stumbled upon things such as the camp in New Mexico.
At that compound, police say Islamic extremist leaders trained children to become school shooters. Investigators found 11 emaciated children and the remains of a 3-year-old boy. An FBI agent testified they were told the 3-year-old died as part of a ritual to expel demons.
There have been a lot of mention of information and testimony that you all have received from whistleblowers.
What do you want me to turn over there?
Their names?
66-year-old Philip Haney, a former DHS officer, was known in D.C. circles as a person who never held back his opinions, even about his boss, President Barack Obama.
I was told to remove all unauthorized references to terrorism.
Testifying to Congress as a whistleblower about Obama, claiming that the then president was not taking the threat of terrorism seriously.
I would like to show you now the logo of the Muslim Brotherhood, the moderate organization that this administration chose to ally itself with.
In 2016, Haney even wrote a book, See Something, Say Nothing.
We're not making a statement that this was in fact suicide.